Good morning. So, I think we can start. Yeah. So, we talked about application integration, right? So, in that, we understood like how to create a service connector. One, by using the Swagger file. Yeah. So, which means we can create a Swagger based on third party REST API, right? And once you create it, then using service connector, if you want to pull the data, we can pull. Or else we can also post a question. Based on that, we can also get the response. So that's the second part we discussed, where we know like how to supply the input to this third party API, which is FedEx part we discussed. So once you supply input, we have seen the response, right? Which is REST response. Yeah. Okay, so that part is done. Now we need to start getting into uh, another topic. So before there's one more way to create what service connector, which is WSDL. I think we talked about that. Even data integration also can create what business services by using third-party WSDL file. Right? I think we have talked about it when we try to perform web services transformation, right? So what we did was we have just created business services which does Celsius to Fahrenheit conversion. I think we talked about it. And then we can take that as a input to this web services transformation to integrate IICS with third-party portal application. Yeah. Fine. I think we talked about that. But even in app integration also, we can also create service connector based on WSDL. Yeah. Fine. Now the next question. So let us say we need to start getting into creation of an app connection, which we have not done yet, right? So we just created only service connectors, but we have not created app connection. So which means this particular app connection would be created one based on what pre-built service connectors, or we can also create a connector from the scratch based on, let us say, file or even IICS data integration, or through FTP or SFTP or REST, or let's say even application, let's say Salesforce example, right? So let's say we need to pull the data from Salesforce application, or we need to insert or update delete data within one of the object of Salesforce application. So that also can be done by using what? By creating app connection, then use that connection as part of process flow. Yeah. Can you see, guys? These are the multiple pre-built connectors. One, let's say Amazon S3, then Amazon SNS, and so on. So these are cloud-based applications, and then this is for advanced message queue protocol, which will be used to make ISS. third-party application in terms of messaging part. Yeah. So that's what we do by using this particular MQP. So file means I think we talked about it. So read write data from a file into a file. FTP to transfer file or files from one host to some other host. So this one will be used for to integrate with pre-built IICS API if you have already built it. This one is basically for email service and to send notifications by email. So this requires, which is address verification service would require what license for data quality. Then we can also create a connector, which is app connection by using that. This is data as service. Again, Dash is one of the feature that we have in IICS. You know, so which can also be used as a service, like we are using integration as service here, right? And then we have JDBC generic cloud adapter to talk to multiple databases. You know, Kafka is one of the messaging system where we can have producer consumer through which we can make both of them to talk to each other, like producer as a consumer, which is where producer can post a message, consumer can receive a message. Yeah. So that part we do. This is also message queue for messaging part. Salesforce, yes, I think we talked about it, one example, but we have not talked about like, can we write data to a Salesforce object? Answer is yes. We have not done it. Yes, we'll try to do it here. Yeah. Let us create it anyway. Yeah. And Salesforce, we can connect one based on what in data integration we can connect. And second, from here also we can connect. But here, if you want to connect to this Salesforce site, we need to install what we call ICRT package, which we call Informatica Cloud Real Time package. You know? So that is mandatory to talk to what we call Salesforce. Can you see, guys? So you can just use what ICRT package, search for it. You'll get this package. You can just install. You know. So let me try. I think I already have a link. So that is a prerequisite, guys, before we start getting into the usage of Salesforce with yes, ICRT. I'll share this presentation anyway. So let me open that. Yeah. Can I see, guys? So this is one of the what I call intermediate package that is required to make Salesforce to talk to IICS. Can you see here? So which means Salesforce outbound message that triggers app integration process. So the package is mandatory. So to talk to Salesforce with IICS app integration. Yeah.
Summa, one question.
Yeah.
So, see, like earlier classes, you like explain about data integration. This is application integration. So, what
Mhm.
is the major difference and why we go for, in which scenario we go for application integration?
Yeah, as the name suggests, application integration, we use it to make multiple applications to talk to each other. In the previous cases, we can integrate some applications, but not all. Here we can do what do you call, for example, to talk to cloud application like Salesforce, Amazon, or
Here also through connector we are fetching data
yes,
and loading data to Salesforce. Here also we are
that
trying to connect through
yes,
ICRT. That is a
yeah,
connector, nothing
yeah,
but.
yes.
So
Yeah,
means
yeah. Right. Here we can create connector, then build a process flow, then deploy that process flow, convert that to API. That API can be used by other applications, which can't be done within data integration. You got right. For example, whatever is done within IICS, we need to make it available to other applications. So,
Other
like,
application in the sense,
for example, Salesforce or Amazon or some other portal application where they would be expecting the output of IICS. Then that we could do it by using what uh, app integration. That's a major thing. For
suppose
example,
S3, suppose AWS S3 bucket, we have to connect. So
that is
there,
possible. That connecting to Amazon S3 bucket, that's possible even in
it,
data integration
it,
also. That is
okay.
possible. But what is extra thing here is first thing app to app integration. Second thing, once you build complete process flow over here, so from outside we can talk to IICS if you have built a process flow within application integration only. Only data integration, it is not possible. That way, we can make multiple applications to interact. In the sense, from outside also, they can make a call to ISCS. You got right? Outside and says, let's say from Google Chrome, or from Postman, or from Salesforce, or from some other portal application. They can access this ISCS just by supplying what URL. You got right. So,
Okay.
like we are trying to get into this particular ISCS by supplying URL, right? This is what we supply, right? Yes or
So
no?
in Salesforce, you are supplying this URL.
Yeah, yes. Others, right? Others in the sense from Salesforce, they can supply this URL by supplying the input or no input also based on what we have built it. So then they can get the response from ISCS. So that we could do it by using app integration. So not only that, here let us say if you want to make multiple applications to interact based on what messaging. For example, any change that we do, like in terms of what inserting a record, modifying a record, deletion of a record, or any change that we do within this ISCS, we need to make this particular change that is available for other applications. So first we need to trigger it, which means send an event or message. Based on that, they would take a decision. They means what? Other applications to get or to talk to IICS or not. You got right? So that's also possible within this app integration. So you got right. One one major feature is what from other applications they can talk to IICS, and second messaging in the sense they can also communicate in terms of what sharing events. So which means here with respect to change of state that need to be available for other apps, right? That also can be done. You got right, Bharat?
Yes, yes, Sanjesh.
Yeah, that this is the one thing. Mainly messaging and communicating. These are two things with respect to events and data. Both are possible. How? We can publish and deploy. Then if you supply URL, right, you'll get a URL. I'll talk about it. Once you get a URL, right, that URL can be used by anybody else, like a third party Postman or Google Chrome or some any browser or some other portal application. Just remember these 2 points. Yeah, fine. That's a second thing. And third is what we can also make multiple applications to interact in an interactive mode. In the sense, let us say, based on the input that we supply from ISCS, other applications can take a decision like a what to respond. So, which means we can make multiple apps to communicate in an interactive mode. Remember, which means for a given input, you'll get the response. So likewise, you can have multiple ways to make an interactive mode of communication. Clear, right? Bharat, that's one more
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what we call guide designer. So then, apart from that, let us say there are some third-party applications. Yeah, like we have just seen Amazon S3, SNS, all that, right? Integrating third-party applications with IICS, it is very much possible or quite easily is possible by using what? App integration. So which is not that interactive if we go with what? Plain data integration. That's another feature. So plus, let us say we have got what I call pure REST-based interaction, which is representation state transfer protocol. That is also possible by using what? App integration. Plus, let us say we have many third-party APIs where for a given chunk in the sense, we supply input data by using soap binding. I think we talked about yesterday, right? Within a soap binding, we can supply multiple input parameters. One could be based on authentication or authorization, or second based on what? Customized parameters. Like we talked about one of them, which is I think tracking number we discussed, right? For a given tracking number, we could able to get the item details, whether it's shipped or not shipped or in transit, whatever, right? All that we talked about in the last session. So which means we can also send chunk of data as input in the form of what? Posting a message with an XML input and get the corresponding response from third party API, which is FedEx. We talked about it. Yeah. So yes, these are the major things that we could achieve it by using app integration. Bharat. Yeah. So fine. Now let us say we all know that what are the inputs that are required to talk to Salesforce guys. So we need to what I call yeah. I was trying to talk about these steps we need to follow right to talk to uh, Salesforce from app integration. So we need to make sure that this particular package, which we call ICRT package, that should have been installed. To do that, I've just kept the links. I just copied and pasted in this document. So we can use this link, or we can also use one of these, say the sandbox environment or production environment, you know, to install this package. Once
This
we are
one,
done,
this
once we
document,
are done, yes, please,
this is a
I'll
Word
share that.
document, right? Sumo?
Word document.
Okay, you please share to us after
Yeah,
the.
I'll share it. Fine. So then, yeah, if you want to look at once installed, right, like what are the packages that have been installed, right? We can just apply this link. I kept that. So, like, yeah, we can just get into that link and see what are the packages that got installed. Yeah, for example, oh, what happened? Yeah. So once you install it, then you can just get into this particular what do you call Salesforce login page. Then we can search for all the installed packages, like SCAT package or package name we can supply this one. Yeah. So then we could able to see that list of package that got installed. Yeah. So that's it. Direct URL. So we are unable to log in. So we can just supply normal URL. Then supply that link so that we can see all the packages. So here we can also search, yeah, all the package that got installed. Yeah. Now the next question. Once we are done with that, if you want to create your own objects, we have only seen existing objects, right? We can also create a new object from Salesforce also. And then insert sample data and use that object as input in IICS. But provided you need to have access to this Salesforce. Yeah. So that's the second thing. Now let us talk about username and password. Yes, these are four inputs that are required to talk to Salesforce, right? We all know that. Yeah. So security token. Let me get it here. Yes, let me copy this. Yeah, this link in here by default it comes. If not, we just have to copy this link. So login.salesforce.com. So protocol, the latest version. Yeah. So that's it. So you can say we supply three inputs here: username, password, and security token. Yeah. I think we have talked about it in data integration also, right? Yeah. And save it. Yeah. Now we can test this particular connection. So it is passed. So we supplied the right inputs. After that, we can just get it published. Yeah. Yeah. It takes some time. Yeah. Meantime, you guys can ask questions.
Salesforce, do we need to create a account in here? Is it free or like how it goes?
We got a trial version for 30 days to learn. For commercial, yes, we need to buy license. Okay.
I see. And here you just create like publish. So what does it mean? It's like
Publish means we are trying to make this IICS configuration or IICS which can be exposed outside IICS, which
okay,
means it's like a deploying. So once you deploy, right, anybody can make use of this, Raymond.
correct, correct.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So any other questions? Yeah, it's taking time. Let me open more.
Shimma, you didn't mention now one point there. You said cloud server or any secure agent, right? Don't you need to modify that particular piece? You have to, don't you have to supply the agent name there? It says run on.
Yes. What can you please repeat, Ravi?
There is a item there, right? Run on. You said you mentioned cloud server or any secure agent.
Right.
So is that the setting we use for app connection, or do we provide our agent information there?
Both are possible, Ravi.
Okay, this also works if, even if with this configuration. Is that
Exactly.
right? Okay.
Yeah, let us say to answer your question, we'll try to do it with this configuration. Fine. Okay. Now we have just created a connection, right? So we need to make use of this connection to write data to what? A Salesforce object. Yeah. So to do that, let us try to build a process. Yeah. Now I think with this you'll get answer for both Ravi's question and Raymond question. Yeah. Effect of publish and usage of this agent without configuration. Right. Both will be answered practically now. Yeah. So now let us talk about process. Can you see here? Process is similar to task flows that we have done as part of data integration task flows, right? This is also similar to that, but here we are putting focus point across applications. But there, within IICS, we can make multiple tasks to talk to each other. That's the difference. Huh? So now the next question, click on create. Now you can ask question, how can I make data integration flows which can talk to other applications, right? So answer is what? We have to do it through what? App integration only. So there is one, what I call, we can call this particular data integration task from app integration. That way we can make even indirectly data integration capabilities can be availed from third-party application. That's also possible. Fine. Fine. Let us start with the process part. So first one, let us try to understand basic process flow where we'll understand like what is the input and what do you expect from process, empty process, without any what I call new addition like Salesforce or some other service, whatever. We don't do anything. Let us see whether we can invoke this process from outside or not. That's the first thing we'll start. That's a process start. Yeah. So now the first question. So you will get a question, right? In case if you already have API, we can supply here, or else we can just keep it as a blank location where we store it. Now the next question, in order to invoke this particular process or an API, we can do it in what? Two ways. One, by using REST or SOAP protocol, and second, with an event. Clear, guys? Now, look at here. We can see allowed groups and corresponding users. We can supply the group name like services group or whatever with users. Like we registered with one user, right? Trial version. We can supply that particular user. Only that user will have access to this application. Yeah. Or else we can also make anonymous access so that either system user and even other users also can access it. Yeah. On cloud server example. Yeah. So this user can also be used as current user for Salesforce, or we can also use system user. Yeah. So let's say we are using current user. Yeah. So that is starting point. For example, if you don't try to use this particular either this option, which is group with corresponding users or anonymous access, then there is no way of accessing this particular API. So which is process flow outside IICS. Now let us try to save this. Publish. Done. Now, once you are done with that, can you see if you click on properties details, can you see here? No service URL available because we need to add allowable user groups or anonymous access. Clear, guys? So that is mandatory. So now what we need to do? We just have to go to start, which is an event, start event. Then select one of them. Let's say allow anonymous access. After that, we can save it. Then publish. Publish means we are making it available to outside. Then go to properties details. Can you see, guys? Now, this particular process flow is available outside. Now, copy this URL. See, browser is some other application, right? Yes or no? From the browser also, we can access it. See here. So it is returning empty because we have not done anything, but we could able to access. That's it. This is starting point. I hope it is clear, right? Yes or no? Raymond? That's also the question. Now, to invoke it, are we using any agent here? Answer is yes. By default, it uses what? Cloud server, which is cloud secure agent or cloud hosted agent. Agent is mandatory. That's the second thing. And third, if you want to dump some message like end process flow or end flow, we can also do it and save it just to make sure that this particular process flow got ended. That's it, nothing else. You can just again get this particular link, either SOAP binding or HTTPS. We can just execute it so that we could able to see empty indicates which is successful. Now, let us try getting into the next step, which is let us say for a given input, can we get the output or not? To get there, we can just supply input fields. Example, add input fields. Let's say input here, example, and then output fields, add output here, which is output field. Output field could be a static value where initial value we can supply here. Yeah, let's say test or hello API from IICS app integration. Yeah. So I'll just put the AI. Yeah. So that's it. Temporary is for temporary manipulation. Now the question, let us say if we save it and publish and now get the URL by getting into properties details, copy and paste it in the browser and see. Can you see, guys? Allow API from IICS app integration. We added one input field, other output field. Result of that output is what? Static text. Now the question, if you want this particular output, which is based on the given input, how do you get that? To get there, we can start what you call, I'll just close this. Yeah, we can start getting into adding the first and foremost step, which is what? Assignment step. So as the name suggests, assignment step will be used in order to assign a value to what? Output field. So which means output is equal to input. Example. Which means for a given input, we can get corresponding result that will be stored in output field. Because we have already added input fields and output fields. Yes or no? For example, here I will not add any. Let's add just remove this. Add just output field. Example, simply output I'll give here. Right? Now we just have to make use of these ports or these fields in assignment steps. For that, go to assignments properties, click on plus, where we can supply output and select a field, and that field will be, let's say example, current user. Yeah. Who's the current user, guys? Salesforce. Second, we can also supply the input, which is which means user can supply the input from third-party application. So Based on that, you'll get the response from IICS. Let us see that. Publish, and then go to properties, copy, and paste it here. Yeah. See guys, so output is equal to what? Anonymous, because we selected anonymous user as part of this particular anonymous access actually, as part of start. Yes or no guys? Anonymous, right? That we could able to say it. Yeah. Now the next question, let us say instead of using anonymous, we need to make it dynamic in the sense for a given input, we should get output. See here, input field we added, right? Yes or no? Where we added input field as input over here. So which means if the user supplies the input, output of that should be stored in this particular output field. So that also could be done by using what app integration. Let us try to build it, and we published it, right? Now get the URL, copy this URL, and that's the old one, right? Let's paste new one. So yeah, this is empty because we have not supplied any input here. Now let us apply the input slash question mark question mark. This is syntax, guys. So input. I think I've used this syntax where guys can just click on. See here, output is equal to test because we are trying to assign output to input, right? Yes or no? So output of this input, it will be stored in what? Output field. Yeah. So input we give this test, which is stored in what? Output field. That's it. Which means we can also supply the parameter value from outside applications. Chrome is outside to IICS, right? So this way we can interact multiple applications. I hope now you got the answer, right? Bharat, practically we are trying to do it. So did we do that in data integration? Answer is no. So this we could do it only by using what? App integration. This is a practical part of it. Yeah. Clear, right? Yes or no? Guys, you can hear me, right? Yes. Yeah. So that's it. At this part, right? Like how to supply input parameter. We talked about it when we talked about WSDL, like that conversion, Celsius to Fahrenheit, right? Where while getting this WSDL from third party service. So I've just used question mark WSDL, which is going to be what? Input parameter. And with the for that parameter, we give the value here. And this value we have just assigned in this particular assignment step, which is output is equal to input. Likewise, any manipulation can be done. I'm just trying to show here, can we supply parameters as input from other applications? Based on that, you'll get the response. In between, you can have even formula also. Any kind of what you call formula, you can also build it by using available functions. That's also possible. So, but what we did here was, instead of applying formula, we have just used a field, which is going to be input field, and we are just assigning it. So, just to understand, can we supply parameter values from outside IICS so that IICS can take that input and will respond. That response we got it here. Yes or no? And from other way, I think we have done, right? In the sense, get the response from third party application from IICS. That we have done it yesterday, right? Like a FedEx application where we supplied invoice, sorry, in tracking number For that, we got corresponding item details from third-party API. This way, we can make both multiple applications with or bidirectional communication between uh, multiple applications, like IICS with other applications. That's what I meant. Yeah. I hope now we got right. I think we talked about both from and to, from IICS to third party, from third party to IICS. I think we have done both. Any questions here, guys? Yeah. Yes. I hope it is clear, right? Yeah. Now,
So, Narsimha, in the real world, right? So, how do like application talk to application? I know. So, they will supply the input, like let's say Salesforce supplies the input and calls IICS API, and IICS will call some other application. That is how it works usually.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. The one way is what? Let's say from Salesforce, you want to get some capabilities from IICS, Ravi. In that case, we just supply this link and up, you can also supply parameter if needed and
Okay.
get the job done. That's one thing. So to, yeah, second part you said, right? Again, from ISCS, we can also have integration with some other application. That's also possible. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that I think we have done yesterday. Yeah. Today we are trying to focus on what from other applications can we get the functionality from ISCS. That I think we've just uh, started with one simple empty process flow with input, without input, we talked about it, right? So that also we could able to achieve it. Fine. Yeah. So I think you got the answer, right, Ravi?
Yes, Narsimha.
Yeah, fine. So now the next part. Let us say we need to start what I call executing some service, which is, let us say, example. So example, let's say we have talked about Salesforce, or let us say we need to start making use of one of the pre-built connector. Can you see here? App connection. Now, within that, let's say we need to send and what we call email example, which is a notification. So we can use, let's say, one of the pre-built template where we can fill in the inputs to get to notify, like whatever we do here. Yeah. For that, we need to supply the input fields. For example, test mail from ISCS. That is subject, right? And body, we can edit here. Let's say, so sending an email from ISCS to check the messaging. Yeah. So, fine. Or we can also build, get the output from what field, that also possible. Plus, we can also add some more, like for example, to whom we need to communicate. Yeah. So we can supply here, let's say, recipient address, we can supply here. Example, I'll just supply here, let's say my mail ID. Fine. So we are trying to send a mail to this particular guy. So likewise, we can add n number of addresses with comma separated, or we can also have, we can build a formula with n number of addresses. Yeah. So now we can just save it, publish. Yes. Then go to properties details, copy and run it. Yeah. See, it is running. Yeah, it is completed, right? without any parameters. So after that, we can go to this mailbox. In case we have not got here, yeah, yes, we got mail. Can you see, guys? So this is what message we send, right? This is a subject. We give test mail from IICS. Then this is a body. You got, right? So this way we can also communicate. From whom, which ID? RSL BDM4. So we use that ID as registered ID, right? Yes or no? And this is a link we are using it here. Yeah. Via this link we are sending it. Yeah. So that's it. So this is a what you call registered mail ID via this link to this guy we are communicating. That's it. Yeah. So which means we can also send email from here. Yeah. Using this through service, right? So now next question. Let us say we need to write data to what one of the Salesforce object. Yeah. So we can also call a create step from app integration. Here we can supply what I call inputs. For example, app connection Salesforce. Just now we created, right? In that, can you see here multiple objects, yeah, that we have under Salesforce. Let's say account we are trying to do. Here we can supply input fields, the account name. We can add even others also. Like we can see all the fields that we have under this account object. So let us say we are supplying what I call test IICS name, right? So you'll have test IICS name in account name. Yeah. So and then save it. That's it. Now we can publish. So data should be inserted to a Salesforce object. Let us say that. So it is trying to run, right? Yes, it is completed. Now we can just go to Salesforce and go to classic. So I think when we talked about data integration, right? We talked about like how to pull the data from Salesforce object. Here we are trying to talk about how to insert data to what Salesforce object. Yes or no? Yeah. So yeah, now we can just search for all accounts. Yeah. So here we could able to see accounts got anonymous got inserted. So that's it. Yeah. So this way we could able to what I call insert anything. Can you see test IACS name? We give that name, right? Yes or no? So likewise, if you try to run it again, one more entry will be added to this uh, account object. Let us see. I'm trying to refresh. Can you see, guys? One more entry is coming. That's it. So likewise, if you run n number of times, n number of entries will be added in. Is it clear, guys? Which means we are also writing data to what? Another application object like
Can you
Salesforce.
can you show one more time, Narsimha, this how you get this test IICS name again?
What? Configuration, huh?
Yeah,
Okay. So first we need to select create step. Huh?
right.
Then, yeah, let me do it again. So create step, then maximize it. So we can just go to create and select a connection. So we have created connection today, right?
Yep,
Yes or no? App connection.
yep,
Then select one of the object, let's say account object. Clear, no? So we can see all the input fields here. Yes or no? Yep.
right.
So out of them, what we are trying to supply account name, which is a required thing. Can you see here?
Yes.
So that is why if you go to input fields, because it's a required field, we need to supply mandatorily. Let's say, so second entry I'll put here, right? And then say save. Fine. Likewise, you can add any number of fields over here, right?
Okay.
Now publish and get the link. So this link we need to
Oh,
send it to what outside applications. So what they can do, they can just use that link, you know, and call it. We are trying to call it from the browser. Done, right?
right.
So it is completed. Now we can try to refresh this. So can you see the second entry? So this new entry has come in as part of this. And one more entry has come in for test IICS because we are trying to call two times.
Yeah.
This creates that, right? One, you have just inserted test IICS name, other second entry. You got right?
Right.
So
Understood.
that's it. So this is how create step would work. Yeah. Any questions, guys, from anybody? So I think now we understood the importance of app integration, right? Basic things we discussed. So like we talked about service connectors, and second, we have also talked about what I call app connection. With that, we could able to log on to what app integration to configure and get it published. After that, we could able to access it. So that part we discussed. Yes or no? So that's it, guys, about what
Sales configuration
process
of
work.
sales.
So yeah, we'll try to extend this, like how to call, how to throw error messages, decision part, parallel jump step, all that. So we'll talk about it on tomorrow's session. Fine.
The AWS also will be the same process, right? The process will be the same for all the cloud services,
Same.
all the cloud.
Yes, you're right. It is
Yeah.
same. Yeah, I'm trying to talk about here with the one of the application, which is Salesforce. Yes. Yep.
Got it.
And some
Because we
other
don't
portal.
have, because
Yeah.
we don't have access for AWS, right?
We have. We just have to register it and use that. Like Salesforce, we just registered, right? Then we are
Right.
using it. Similarly, Amazon S3, Amazon also, we can just register, submit the domain, username, password, S3 details. Then we can just push and pull. We can put the data through S3 bucket. We can pull the data from S3 bucket. That's possible.
Okay. So can you send that the document which you are showing to us?
Yes, I'll share that. Fine.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thanks to all. So we'll meet tomorrow. So
Thanks all.
yeah.
Thanks.
Right. Thank you.